Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video you will see how I built a WhatsApp follow-up agent which is going to contact a lead once they have submitted the form and eventually tries to book a trial day or a trial week with this lead. In this video you will see everything how I have built this for my client. It's for a fitness, by the way. You will see the chatbot system, the automations I have built, and also we'll start there the flow chart, so to give you a basic understanding. So let's dive in first in the flow chart. The whole flow basically will start once they have submitted the form on the website. The information will then be added in the CRM, and the information is a name, phone number, email address, and what kind of trial they wanted. They can book two kinds of trials, a trial week or a trial day. And a trial week is basically 3 lessons where they can participate on. And then after adding the information in the CRM, we'll send them a WhatsApp template. And depending on if it's a trial week or a trial day, we'll have a separate WhatsApp template for those kind of trials. Once they have responded to the WhatsApp template, the AI chatbot will be activated. The first thing the AI chatbot is going to do is to categorize the lead if it's a child or a elder. Because later on we'll have the lessons for children and lessons for elders. So we have to know if the lead is an elder or a child, or if it's a elder but who's wanting to book it in for their child. So we have to know that first. And then we'll have a API call, 3 API calls. The first API call is to get the user information. And since it's on WhatsApp, we have already their phone number. So with their phone number, we can search the leads in the CRM. So you have an API call in Pipedrive where you can search a person with, you can choose the phone number, name, email address. In this case, we are selecting the phone number. In this way, we don't have to ask the lead within the chatbot, like, what is your name or what's your email address? We have already their phone number. So at this point, we know who it is, what kind of trial they want, what their email address is, or what their email address is, and so on. Once this API call is successful, we'll continue to the FAQ sheet. So inside, my client will have a Google Sheet with all the FAQs. They can also modify this FAQ sheet so they can add, delete, or adjust answers. And every time once the chatbot activates, we'll call this FAQ sheet. So then the chatbot basically has the most up-to-date FAQ sheet. And then also the API call to get the current date and day of the week. Why is that? The AI agent must know what day it is today. So it knows once the lead is saying, for example, today is the 28th. If it says we want the lesson on Friday, for example, it knows Fridays in 2 days. So the date will be May 30. So we have those 3 API calls. It's very important. And also the day of the week. The date is the most important thing, but the day of the week is just to give it more context. And then we have a conditional if it's a trial week or a trial day. In this, for now, we'll focus on the trial week. This is the most complete one. So we don't have fixed dates for a trial week. Whenever they wanted to start, for example, on a Friday, then like the Friday is the start date. And within the start date, within 7 days, we can book 2 another lessons. So that's the first thing the chatbot it wants to know, like what is the first lesson you want to participate on and on which date. And then within 7 days, we can book 2 another lessons. And that's basically the whole trial week for this. So it will know the name and the date of the first lesson, the name of the date of the second lesson and third lesson. Meanwhile, if the lead has some questions like, okay, I want to lose weight, which lesson is the best for me? Or what's the difference between boxing and kickboxing, for example? The agent step is going to use the information from the FAQ sheet. And the FAQ sheet is what we have retrieved in one of those 3 API calls. So, and then after answering the question what it could find in the FAQ sheet, then it will continue the flow and eventually making another API steps. Before the API steps, we'll have also a step where we check if the requirements are met. For example, if the lessons are, all of them are for elders, not for children, if the lessons are all within 7 days, etc. So we'll have an agent, an AI set block over here, which is going to check. If everything is correctly, it will continue. If not, we will go back. And then we are going to get the schedule for the chosen day. And we have as input the date of the lessons and what kind of lessons. So the name of the lessons, actually. With a date, we can make the API call. And we basically get in JSON the whole schedule for that specific day. So we are going to do that. And then we'll have an AI module inside Make.com. And this module is, the action of it is to transform text to structured data. We will dive into this in a moment, but we will get the JSON for that specific day, and then the name of the lesson, the AI agent is going to find if that lesson is given on that day. Inside the chatbot will have also an image with the whole schedule, but sometimes the schedule changes, of course, because of holidays or someone is sick or whatsoever. Once the lesson is available on that day, we'll get some information about the lesson, for example, the lesson ID, the start time, end time, and then we'll go back. If the lesson was not available for that day, we will go back with a reason, and this agent step is going to retry and book the lesson. If it was successful, we got all the lessons IDs, start time, end time. We'll make the API calls, and the API calls is basically to book it inside the booking system. So we will have here the name, which we have retrieved over here, their email address, and the lesson ID. And the lesson ID is a unique identifier of the lesson. So this is the most important data point here to book it inside the booking system. And since there are 3 lessons, we'll do this API call for 3 times. And once everything is successful, we will continue. We will continue, and then we will give the user a summary with everything was successful. The first lesson will start on this date, on this time, end time, and this for 3 lessons, and it will give them also some extra information about what to bring with them, etc. They will say thank you, and then we will continue listening for any other questions. If there are any other questions, we'll answer them based on what we have found inside the FAQ sheet. Okay. This is basically the same thing, but just for 1 lesson. So yeah, so let's dive in. The first step will be form submission. I cannot go inside my lead, inside my client Wix account, but basically inside Wix you will have an automation and a trigger. The trigger will be form submission, and then select the form, and then with an API post call you can send that information to Make.com. These are the automations I've opened for this client. So let's go to the first one. This one was like a couple days published. I had to refresh it, I don't know why it was. But here we will get the information from the form submission. Then we'll have a text parser. We will add the information inside the CRM. And then we'll have the WhatsApp templates. These are API calls. So let's click on, I cannot click on the webhook, but we will get the information over here. And then if it's a normal number, we will go to this flow. If it's a foreign number, for example, we'll let the agents tab, the OpenAI module, structure this, this phone number. And basically, WhatsApp will give the phone number in a country code without the plus. I live in the Netherlands, so the local way to give a phone number is to say 06. With the country code is plus 31. But WhatsApp will give the phone number in only 31 and then the rest of the number. So what it's going to do here is if the number starts with a 0 or something else, it's going to change that to a 31. So for example, this is a phone number, and then instead of the 0, it will say 31 plus, 31 only. The reason why, like I said, WhatsApp will have the phone number in this format. If it's just in a different way, we may not find it inside the CRM. So I'm trying to make sure the phone number is formatted correctly, how WhatsApp is going to do that. So once we have this step where we are going to get the user information, this will be like then always successful. If the phone number is 06 and in the CRM is 31, it will not find it. So that's why we have this step. This OpenAI module will do the same, but mostly for foreign numbers. But I expect most of the numbers will be a Dutch number. So the information then will be saved over here, name, the email address, and the phone number. And like if I go with my mouse over here, you see the webhook module in the left bottom corner, like jumping. Like this information we directly get from the form submission. This one is from the text parser, so that's actually the new format, the new formatted way for the phone number. So this information we are going to save it inside the CRM, which is this step. After that, we'll have a conditional, which is this block, and if it's a trial lesson, we'll have a separate WhatsApp template for them, and if it's a trial week, we'll have for them a WhatsApp trial week. Let's open it. Perfect. There's no, so this module was an extra module which I've created for this video without the phone number, ID, and my access token. So to send a WhatsApp template, first you have to create a template inside WhatsApp Business. And then you will also get a phone number ID. The method must be post. The phone number ID must be in between those slashes. I've deleted mine. The first header is authorization, bearer, and then space, and your access token. This is also something you will get once you have created your, once you have connected your phone number. Another header will be content type, application JSON, and then this is the actual body content. I will make soon a separate video how I did everything this and how I found the phone number ID, the access number, how to connect it with, how to connect the chatbot with Meta Business. So this will be my next video. Make sure you subscribe also in this video to not miss that video. Let's unlink it. So yeah, here we are going to make the WhatsApp, we will send the WhatsApp template. Once we have sent the WhatsApp template, we will then wait until they have responded to the WhatsApp template. And this WhatsApp template will ask them if they are an elder or a child. Which is blue is the chatbot system, so let's go to the chatbot itself. I have to refresh everything. Perfect. So in the WhatsApp template, we ask, are you a child or a elder? And whatever they have said, we will save it as loss utterance, and then with an AI set block, we will categorize it. So we will get the loss utterance inside this AI prompt, and then based on what they have said, we will categorize them in elder, child, or something else. I hope not an alien. Okay. If I click on here, you can see the AI module. I just used Cloud 3.5 HiQ. It works fine. If I say here, for example, volwassen, which means in Dutch elder or adult, you can see here the output is ouder, which means elder. And basically we'll save the output from this prompt step inside a variable. So you can see if I click on here, prompt, and then the output of that prompt will save it inside a variable. And then we'll have the 3 API calls. The get current time, which you can find inside the VoiceFlow website. The get user info and the get FAQs. The user info, we didn't ask anything about the phone number, but in this way, in this formatting, the phone number is saved. And then we will send it to this scenario. Get send user info. We basically get the phone number, search the person, and with Pipedrive I couldn't get all the information, but we had to search in person, and then with a person ID we can go to the get a person and get the actual information. So I guess this is mine. You see phone number, we get some information, but we get the most important thing, the person ID here. And then with the person ID, we can get like all the information from that lead. And then we will send that information in a webhook response back to VoiceFlow, the chatbot system. So it then saves the name, the email address, what kind of trial inside the chatbot. So if I go back, we will send the phone number and then capture the kind of trial, the email address, and the name. Make sure once you are having a webhook response, the object names is exactly the same as in VoiceFlow. So name, email, proofless. If it's a bit different or there's a typo, it might not work. You will not get anything back. Also with the custom headers, make sure you type in content type in this way, and also application JSON. One time, this is super case sensitive. One time there was no webhook response. I couldn't get the information back inside the chatbot system. Why was that? There was a space here. So it's super case sensitive. So make sure everything is typed without typos or whatsoever. If there's any typo, it will not work. And yeah. In this way, we can send the information back to VoiceFlow, and now the information from the CRM are also saved inside the chatbot. So we know their name, email, and what kind of trial. The get current time, we have as input the time zone, and then we will get from that time zone the date of the day of the week and the actual date. With the function Google Sheet, you will have to give it your spreadsheet link. Make sure like it's open so everyone can edit it. The range, if you just type the name of the sheet, it will then give you the whole sheet in a variable. You can also be more specific, like which kind of cells or which range, for example. You can also be more specific over here. I just typed in the name of the sheet, which was FAQs with a small s. Then we'll have the API call, I mean the API key. This is what you can find inside Google. If you go to Google and then API, you will find it. I will make also a separate video about this. And then basically the output will save in this variable, and then the whole JSON, the whole Google Sheet will be then saved in this variable. I can test it quickly out and show it to you. Give it a second. Okay, cool. You can see here, we literally got the whole body from this Google Sheet. So you will have a question, vraag, antwoord, answer. So question and an answer. And then we can give this output to one of those AI agent steps. And if there's any questions, it will use this information as first layer. I hope that makes sense. So let's go back. So after that, we will show them the schedule. This is like the fixed schedule, but there might be some changes in every week because there's a holiday or someone's sick, for example. And now we have a split, which we also have over here. This part, if it's a trial day, we'll go to this flow, and if it's a trial week, we will go to this flow. So let's go to the trial week, which is this flow. And here we have an agent step. And the agent step is something new what VoiceFlow has added, and this is super useful. It basically will save me a lot of work, and you can also build it by yourself. So with the agent step, you will have to give it a general instruction. You can also give it some inputs. I gave the inputs the FAQs, the date, the day of the week, the name of the lead, and this will come in a moment. But here you will get the general instructions. Then on the top right, you will have the LLM model. I will mostly give it like max tokens, and then the more left the temperature is, the more like stricter it is, and the more on the right, the more random it is. You can also select your agent model over here, AI model. I'm using GPT 4.1. I recommend you to test the type of AI model first. Sometimes the LLM is not following the instructions, but you might fix it immediately once you have selected another LLM model, which is a bit smarter. But you can select here from the modules of OpenAI, from Anthropic, from Google, DeepSeek, and Meta. And then tools. This is the API tool. Here, not only APIs, you can also add functions and like an integration or MCP. I just selected API call. So in a general instruction, we are talking about this tool, when to use it, but in here we'll have a more detailed version of it. So how and when to use it and how to format it. The input variables must be the name of the lesson and the date of the lesson. So lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And this is for the trial week, of course. And then we are going to capture the IDs of each lesson, the start times of those lessons, the end times, and also if the lesson is available, yes or no. So the agent is going to gather the information, is going to answer the questions with what we could find inside the Google Sheet. And then eventually, once we get all the important information, this input, the lesson name, the date of the lesson, etc., it then makes the API call. And you can see here, if I click on the variable, the input variable, it must gather. We also instructed to give it in this format. If it's in a different format, it won't work. So if you want a default value and you don't want the agent to ask this, you can also type it in here, and then if you type it over here, the LLM will not ask the user for this information. In this case, I left it open, so it has to gather it by itself. So it's the same thing with the lesson. We'll have these lessons, and this input must be one of those lessons, and this input must be the date of that lesson in this format. Once we have everything, we are going to make the API call. So let's go to make.com. We will send these information to make.com, because on make.com we'll have the OpenAI module where you can transform text to structured data, which is exactly what I need. So let's go back, get this. All right, so let's open this. You can see here the input is the name of the lesson is madness, the date in the instructed formatting, the name, date, name, date, all of those 3 lessons. With the date, we can make the API call. So up until here, it's like fixed, and this part is the variable from the chatbot, from the AI agent. And this is like, this change all the time. And then with this API call, we can get the schedule for that day. So if I open it, you can see in JSON, we have all the information. This API call is basically the same, but for lesson 2, and this is for lesson 3. So the difference is only the date. That was 28, this was 30, and this one was, I guess, 31. Yeah. And then we get the lessons for that day. Then we have the OpenAI modules. So let's go inside there. And like I just said, we have the action transform text to structured data. So the module I've selected, and then a text to parse. The text to parse is the JSON from this API output, which I just showed you, and this is the whole schedule. And then here we have the name of the lesson. So basically what it needs to do is search this lesson inside this text, and if found, it will say here, less available, less beschikbaar. It will say yes or no. The ID of the lesson, if it found it, the start time, and the end time. Same thing with this, and this is for lesson 2 and 3. And then we are going to send all the information back to the chatbot system. So this is again the webhook response, and again this is super very case sensitive. So one typo and it won't work. You can see here we sent this information, the lesson name and date, and then we are going to capture the ID, the start time, end time, and if the lesson is available, yes or no. Remember this variable, which I didn't talk about, this will become handy in here. Over here, after the chatbot, once we have everything saved in a variable, like all of this information, we'll send it to this prompt block, which is going to check all these variables. And the most important one is the variable lesson available, yes or no. This is also the step which we have over here. Requirements meet. I mean, over here, availability check. If there one of the lessons were a no, for example, we will go back and I instructed this AI prompt, if it's not available, explain why. And then the output will be then saved in the variable, and then we will send it back to this agent step. In this agent step, I said this variable, if it's a 0, then it's fine. If there's text, means there needs some adjustments, there needs some corrections. So, and if everything was good, like after this AI prompt step, we'll have the path. If it's this word, which means how do you say it? Like it's fine, like you can continue. Approved, that's an English word. And then we'll continue to the API calls. If not, if it was something else, which is the reason why we couldn't, why it could not retrieve the lesson, for example, it will give an example, an explanation, and then we will go back to the agent step. If everything was approved, we will make the API calls. So if I click on this, we'll have the post API call, the endpoint URL, the header, and then a body. The body is also very case sensitive, so date, guest phone, guest name, activity detail. And you can see here we have added the variable, the date, the phone number, which we already have from WhatsApp, the name, what we have retrieved on this step, and the ID, which we have retrieved over here, this one. Let me also show it to you how it looks in reality without the variables name. So body, you can see the object name and the code, start time, end time, and yes. So all that information will be sent over here. We'll check it, and then if everything was approved, we'll make the API call for lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. So everything is the same except the variable. After that, we'll have a summary. So we'll say lesson 1, date of lesson 1, time, start time, end time. Lesson 2, the same thing. Lesson 3, same thing. And what they have to bring with them, and something important. That's it. Then we'll keep a listening block. And in the listening block, we'll have an agent step, which is going to just answer questions. That's it. This path is basically the same, but just for one lesson. So it's a bit simplified. So yeah, so this is how I set it up for my client. The extra automations are for the single day APIs. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know. I have my link, my meeting link down below, so you can book a meeting with me. If you want to work together, you can also book this meeting, or you can send me an email, or you can go on my website and fill in the form. Yeah, that's it actually. I hope this was helpful, and let me know how you like it, and if it was helpful, subscribe to this video, to this channel. It will help me a lot. And the next video will be about the WhatsApp automation. So how to connect your WhatsApp account with VoiceFlow. So if you're new at VoiceFlow, you can also find the link down below. Same thing with Mic.com. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you the next time. Bye-bye.